Hey guys, how's it going? Well, um, as I think I mentioned a couple times before, um, I have made a major Amazon purchase, equivalent of $500 US or $700 Canadian. So what I'm doing is I'm getting the items shipped to this little town called Point Roberts, Washington, and Washington State. And basically, it's a really kind of a weird thing. It's just like the only way to get there by car is through Canada. Otherwise, I think you have to go over with a boat. It's kind of like a little peninsula thing that's cut off from the rest of the U.S. Um, I have a major problem though, and that is, of course, you need a passport to get across. And being the numbskull that I am, I didn't check the expiration on my passport, and it expired June 13th, 2016. So now I've got all this stuff I've already ordered. It's sitting there. I'm gonna go get it early next week. I'm gonna try to go get it early next week, and they might not let me across the border because my passport's expired. So yeah, I don't really know what's going to happen with that. Are they going to let me through? Are they going to say, no entry? I'm hoping I get a guy who's in a good mood and he can just see it's. Now I don't know if I should just act surprised and say, "What? My passport's expired?" Should I do that, or should I just say, "Yeah, I know it's expired. I'm just hoping you guys will let me across." So what I'm doing is I'm ordering stuff off of Amazon.com, the American site, and for Canadians it's way cheaper to buy the stuff on Amazon.com in U.S. funds and then pick it up in the States over across the border. Um, for example, the Fantastic Fan is $160 US, and it's probably close to double that price if I bought it from Amazon Canada. Same exact thing. So even with the exchange, it's way cheaper. And even with the hassle, it's about an hour drive to get to this location in Point Roberts. But even with all that, it's way cheaper. Spending, especially since I'm spending like 500 US. And a lot of that stuff that I'm buying isn't really uh, van or RV related. I mean, I've got like some clothes, I got a pair of pants, a couple hoodies, 3 t-shirts, a case for my phone, a few knickknacks like that. Of course, I got the Fantastic Fan. I've got the Endless Breeze 12-volt fan, the standalone fan. And other big thing is I got the cover for the Fantastic Fan. That's gonna go so that I can keep my fan open even when it's pouring rain, which it rains here a lot. It's very handy to be able to open that fan cover and just have the lid and just have lots of fresh air in whenever I want, rain or no rain. I also bought a clear lid. The Fantastic Fan comes with a smoked lid, but because the Fantastic Fan, the part that goes over it, is already smoked. If it's double smoked, that means it's going to be dark, and I want as light. Part of the main thing I love about the Fantastic Fan is that it lets more light in, and that's the reason. One of the main reasons I went for it over the Max Air Fan. I seriously considered that one as well, because that one you don't have to buy the cover that goes over the top because it's built in. But it's not going to let in nearly as much light, so those are the main items I'm buying. A few other things as well I'm probably forgetting. I think it's like 14 things altogether. But there's a couple higher priced items there. So the idea is I cross the border, go down to the shipping place, which will basically, you have the items shipped there through Amazon, and then you pick them up at their location, and it's really not that expensive. I mean, I've done this before, and it cost me about maybe $20 for like 15 items, little small boxes and big boxes. So it's totally worth it to me. It's definitely a money-saving thing. Now, last year, I did the same thing. And last year, I made a major blunder. I assumed that the retailers through Amazon would include invoices for the stuff that they sent me, but they didn't. Like, I would say 8 out of the 10 packages, or about 80% of the vendors did not include invoices. So then I get to the border to come back into Canada, and the guy goes, "Do you have anything to declare?" And I go, "Yeah, I bought a bunch of stuff off Amazon." And he goes, "So what's the value?" And I said, "No, I think about $400. And he goes, "You think? What exactly is the declared value?" And I said, $400. And he looked at me and goes, "Bring it into the office." So then the guy in the office says, "Where's your invoices?" I said, "Well, I thought that I've never done it before," and that's being 100% honest. I never brought stuff across before like that. And I said, "I thought the vendors would send invoices, but they didn't." And he goes, "Well, that's on you. That's not up to us. That's not up to the vendor. You got to take responsibility for that." And he's 100% right. So what ended up happening is he went on the Amazon website and he totaled the stuff that I had. It ended up being over $700, and I said $400. So then he looks at me and he says, "Give me one reason that I should not confiscate everything right now. One reason." And I'm like, oh, God. I was like, oh man. I said, "Look, this is the first time I've ever done this. I really didn't know that the vendors would not include invoices or receipts or whatever you want to call them. And, you know, I just plead ignorance. I've never done it before." And he goes, "You know what? I'm going to check your history. And if you've ever had anything like this happen before, or a warning has been given, I'm going to seize everything. And then in order to get it back, you're going to have to pay 25% of the value." Oh, man. So luckily, I was being truthful, and I never had a problem before because I never did it before. And he let me go. I had to pay all the taxes and everything, which is no problem. But now, I do have a warning on the record, on my record or history or whatever you want to call it. So this time, I have invoices. I printed them off on Amazon. I have 11 pages of invoices. How it worked out to 11, I don't know, but that's what it is. So those invoices, on the way back, I shouldn't have any problem. I'll just go in and pay the taxes. And hopefully that'll be all ticky-poo. Now, of course, the question is, are they going to let me over in the first place? Because like I said, my passport is expired. I was trying to do some reading online, and some people say there's no way that can let you over, and other people said that they might, looking at past case scenarios for other people who have done this. So, what do you guys think? Do you think I have a shot? Think it's a total waste of time? Or do you think that they're going to just say, "Turn it around, buddy, you're not coming in"? Because if that happens, if they don't let me across, then I don't know what's going to happen with all my stuff. Because the shipping company is going to say, "Well, you can't keep it here," so they're either going to send it back, or they're going to charge me a huge amount of money to get it, to wait, because it might take a month to get my passport renewed. I don't know. Now, I also saw that you can get your passport renewed in 24 hours, but it's going to cost $270. So obviously I don't want to pay that. So I guess what I'm going to try is I'm going to try to cross, and then if the shipping company, if I don't make it across, I'll call the shipping company and tell them what the situation is. I'm sure they've run into this before. they're either going to say, okay, we're going to charge you this amount of money, we'll hold it for 2 weeks or a month, and then, you know, basically on the website says that if you don't pick it up within a month, they just toss it. So that would be really an ugly situation. Now, the other part of the border thing that I'm doing is, since I'm obviously living in my van, I am not going to drive this van across the border. I remember one time when I crossed the border, and there was this guy in his work truck who was in front of us, and you know, he's got all his tools in there, and they basically pulled him over and they went through everything. Because if you got tools in your truck, they're going to say, well, how do we know that you're not going to go work in the US? You've got tools, this is your trade. So I'm going to avoid all that because I do have tools in my van. I'm also going to avoid the hassle of explaining what my current address is and explaining where you live and all this stuff. And these border guards are trained how to read lies. So I really don't want to lie. I don't like lying anyway, but especially not to police or border guards. So I want to be as truthful as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive as close as I can to the border, and I've got my my mountain bike at my ex-wife's place in the bike storage area, which I got to sell because I never ride it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it in the back of my van, bring a backpack, and I'm going to just try to ride across the border. And you know, just be honest, say, you know, I got a bunch of tools in my van, and I didn't want to have issues of me crossing the border with tools and stuff. And it's easier just to take the bike, ride the bike over. There's a few. I'm gonna have to bring some bungee cords to get all the stuff in. I got my backpack that I have is fairly large, so I won't have any problems getting the smaller things in. And I'll probably take all the stuff out of the boxes just to reduce the amount of space that they take. But the Fantastic fan and the cover that goes over the fan are fairly large, so I'm probably gonna have to bungees on those onto the carrier on my bike. So that's the plan to get over, if they let me over. So if you guys have any ideas about this expired passport business, please let me know in the comment section below. I'm going to definitely bring my passport. I'm going to bring my original birth certificate, and I'm going to bring my professional credentials for what I do for a career as well with me. Hopefully that'll give me a bit more legitimacy, if you will. Maybe not. It's worth a try. And I'll see how it goes. So I appreciate any points of view you guys may have on this issue regarding the expired passport. Let me know if you have any experiences with this. And I guess we'll see what happens next week. So thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good night.